Eleni Pinnow. I am an associate professor of psychology in the Department of Human Behavior, Justice, and Diversity and the psychology program. I have a really wide range of students that take classes with me. I teach Psych 101, which is really our big gen ed. So I have students pretty much from every major on campus. But I also teach courses within the major, so I teach our senior research. My typical teaching day is actually pretty hard to describe because I don't know if there is necessarily a typical teaching day. So I usually get to work half an hour to maybe an hour before my first class so that I can review my notes for the day. So I teach from 9 till noon and then from 2 to 3. And then between 12 and 2, I have open hours where students can sign up to come talk to me, or I'll have committee work or meetings. Sometimes I'll get to do lecture prep during that time, but usually not. So I usually go through and I teach those 3 classes in a row, which is always kind of terrifying because I have 10 minutes lead time between each class. I usually have to run in between to my office to grab my notes, kind of try to recenter myself, check the syllabus to make sure I'm on the right day and everything. So that's mostly what I do on a teaching day. I run around like crazy. The way I prepare for my classes is actually different depending on the class that I'm teaching. Class prep is very time consuming and requires me to really think about what is it important for my students to learn. So I'll start by saying this: I don't lecture much, so I don't teach a lot of classes where it's just me lecturing and imparting knowledge. The thing about teaching a science, and psychology is science, I can never teach the same class twice because the field is always changing and moving, and I want to make sure that I'm giving my students the best information possible. One of my friends who is a professor once joked that she teaches for free, but they pay her to grade. And I really identify with that because I think that grading is incredibly important for students. It gives them feedback that will help them be successful. Grading takes a lot of time. It depends on the assignment for me. If you have a class of about 20 students and I have an assignment that takes 20 to 25 minutes to grade, that's over 8 hours of grading just for that one class. Well, I don't always have time to grade at all during the day. So the days that I teach, nothing's going to happen. The days when I have a lot of committee work, that's not going to happen. It is a significant part of my life, grading. There's no point for me to grade something and not provide a lot of feedback because then my student isn't learning anything. So when I grade, I'm not just grading so that they'll improve in my class, I'm grading so that they'll do better in other classes, and the whole point of education is to make students better thinkers, better writers, better citizens. I think there's a general misunderstanding that advisement of students is really just me telling them these are the classes you need to take to graduate. But I think of advisement really as formalized and school-sanctioned mentoring. So when a student comes to my office for advisement, I ask them to have prepped what classes they want to take. So I'm not just saying you take this, 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 and this. But the first time that you meet with an advisee, it's important to get a sense of who they are and what they want, because a lot of people want different things from a degree. That's what advising is really all about. It's about creating a personal connection with a student so that they feel comfortable and confident and excited to take on the world. I'm currently the chair for the Undergraduate Academic Affairs Council, which is a council that oversees all issues of undergraduate academics. We oversee the curriculum to make sure that the integrity of the academic product that we are delivering is very high. That's essentially what that committee does, and I think that the curriculum in the school is much stronger for it. So I'm grateful to be on that committee because I love seeing what happens academically on this campus. It is very time consuming, but it also allows me to feel like I'm making a difference. I research spoken word recognition, so when you hear me talking, how are you able to understand what I'm saying? In particular, I look at the regularities or likelihood that sounds will occur within a word. So if you've ever spent a couple of minutes on the phone fighting with an automated service, trying to get them to understand that you want customer service, not something else. Although in general, I tend to think about my research more as a pursuit in and of itself. At the end of the day, yes, my research may be helpful to the industry, but I'm much more concerned with answering the question of how do we understand speech, because I think that's a phenomenally interesting question. At UW-Superior, teaching is a holistic idea. It's not just what happens in the classroom. It happens in advisement, it happens in student orgs, it happens you know, with service learning, with undergraduate research. And so because teaching is this holistic thing, just seeing these students become the people that you knew they could is really rewarding. I always think of my students as in a state of becoming. They're on their way somewhere, and I feel really grateful for getting to be a part of that for them. And you know, in some ways, my best teaching moment is selfish because I get a lot of joy out of seeing them develop. And I'm grateful that for 4 years I get to be a part of their lives.